Ben Brown, Evolution Martial Arts in Sparks, Nevada. With Jared. You're always in class. It's cool. That's why you're getting better. That's the formula, right? It's right on the board. Do a little, a lot. Hours equal powers. Input equals output. All different ways of saying the same thing. You put in the work, you get better. Fact. What you're doing. So we're talking about escapes, specifically side control escapes right now is what we're on. Last week we talked about frames and underhooks, which allow you to free your hips. And a lot of times we turn our hips back in, we turn toward our opponent, and we recover guard that way. That's what we did last week. This is kind of a different approach. Not everybody teaches this, but I kind of got onto this. It's a turtle system, turtle-ish system. Preet Nicholson was the place that I saw it. Really high-level black belt, great teacher. If you're into this stuff, look him up. There's plenty. He's got video series. You can find him on YouTube, all that. There's a guy named Eduardo Tellis who was doing this stuff in competition at the world-class black belt level. So I fell in love with this. I'm an old guy. I'm a fan of doing the most work with the least amount of effort. So I won't even need you for a second here. So I'm on bottom and side control. I can either turn into them or I can turn away. And a lot of people are like, you wouldn't turn away because you're giving them your back. They only have your back if they can get inside space. So when you turn away, we're turning into what's called running man. So here's what running man is. I've got my knees stacked on each other. My top leg is in front, toes in the mat. I'm tucking my chin to cut off this inside space. And probably the most, I'm rolling my top shoulder forward. So I'm kind of going this way. And then the most important thing is this forearm right here, this space past my elbow, jammed into my hip crease right here. And then I roll myself into it. So what Jared wants is you want to get in that space. And then you can seatbelt me, take my back, kimuras, arm bars. That's where all that comes from. But if I have this in here and you can't get in, you can't restrict my hip movement, which is the whole point. You want to pin me. Pinning means I can't move my hips. But if I'm like this, I can move my hips. You can put weight on me, go ahead. His weight's on me, but like my hips are free to move. Yeah? It's funny, right, when that happens. So this is running man. Again, how would this happen? Side control, maybe I get this underhook and I just turn away. I do this all the time. From here I have options, okay? But this is the key, is like, one, getting here. I'm not gonna get here if he has like shoulder pressure and he owns this, like I can't get there. This happens from like this ghost underhook. You know, we would get all the way out if we could, but sometimes all we can do is turn away. And so the last little piece, this elbow on the bottom is kind of sticking out a little bit, because one of the things Jared might do is try to grab my shoulders and put my back flat again, like that. So this elbow behind me, the bottom elbow, kind of makes it harder, and that's also why I roll forward. Because if you want to pull me flat, you have to disconnect from me to do that. And so my timing would be, if you start to do that, right, I'm turning, that's what I'm moving. So it's running man. Go ahead and get your running man, and we'll just kind of show. So again, this jammed in there, and your elbow's sticking out slightly. If your elbow's out too far, I have space. If it's in too far, I can push it in, right? So there's this like happy medium, and then this like that. You feel that? And then you're trying to keep me from getting around this corner. So maybe I get my hand around, but like if you don't cut this off, just relax your head, then I can get all the way around, which still doesn't do me any good unless I can get in here. Another thing, kind of stay where you are. We talked about inevitably, especially when you're learning this, they are going to get in this space. So we talked about it. What should you do when they get in this space? Solve that puzzle immediately. If you don't, it only gets worse, right? Back takes, all the bad stuff happens when you fail to address this. Okay, so I'm gonna take your place. There's a couple things we can do when they get in that space. I like this a lot. I reach with the bottom hand, just grab your wrist, right? So you were in there, and I tuck my elbow back in, and I'm back in shape. Okay, the other thing I can do, get in that space, is I can turn my back to the mat, pull my elbow in, and then turn away again. So we'll do that kind of slow motion. You get in there, and I go like that, you see? It's like a little sit up.
Yeah.
I sit my hips out, tuck my elbow in, and then turn away again, right? So you have to be ready for that eventuality, because they will be digging for that inside space. When I see people learning things like this or things like this, what I see a lot of the time is someone gets in their inside space and then they try to get away, can't get away, don't understand why, and then get frustrated and say, this doesn't work, and then scrap the whole thing. That's the wrong approach. Realize what's happening. Okay, so again, go in your, I get in there. First thing, deal with it. Now you can move. And we haven't even talked about how to move. You're doing it right. That's gonna be the next video. The whole point of this is to keep your hips free to move. Move where? All this beautiful open space out here. That's where we wanna go. You're back here, right? So we always say, in this school, we say hips into open space. Well, you can't move your hips into open space if they own your inside space. He controls my hips now. I freed my hips again. Now I can go. My hips can go that way. So that's the whole point. And that is escape theory in general. Free your hips, move your hips. Move them where?
Open space.
Always. That's the formula. It's gonna be slightly different every time because they're gonna be doing something different. You don't know exactly what they're gonna do, but when you own your own inside space, hand fighting, grip fighting, whatever you wanna call it, I call it connection, right? We are connecting or disconnecting. So we disconnect them, free our hips, move our hips into open space, and we get to a position. Combat base, seated guard, whatever it may be, but our hips got to a better place. And then we can do jiu-jitsu from there. Hopefully some offensive jiu-jitsu. Make sense?
Yes, sir.
Right on.